It was there in his small barn in East Hampton that Pollock had his breakthrough. He was not the first artist to drip paint, a technique the Surrealists had experimented with. Although Pollock wasn't the first dripper, he was the first artist to turn the technique into a major artistic statement. In 1947, he took his canvas off the easel, laid it on the floor of his studio, and danced around the edges, tossing ribbons of pigment from a stick. He was essentially drawing in paint, creating flowing, graceful lines that allowed him to invest his work with a mastery that had previously eluded him. As one who had always been obsessed with his inability to draw, Pollock had finally and triumphantly become the great draftsman of his ambitions.
Technique is just a means of arriving at a statement. When I am painting, I have a general notion as to what I am about. I can control the flow of the paint. There is no accident, just as there is no beginning and no end.
Pollock created a mass image, an all-over image, an image that really came out at you, that had enormous energy surging through it, that seemed to expand beyond the picture limit. But it was this all-over image that was so different from anything that anyone expected in art, as well as the technique of creating it, which was through dripping and pouring paint.
to start painting.
Oh, really?
Remember, this is Paris, and here it's not graffiti, it's art. See, if you thought graffiti was just slapdash with spray paint, a lot of these kids work from sketches.
I'm trying to find something to do for today.
What am I saying, kids?
Ma mère, elle est architecte et mon père, il peint de temps en temps.
Ta famille
Elle était pas contre, ouais.
Now, when graffiti first appeared in New York, these people would have been arrested for vandalism. In Europe today, they sell their works in galleries, and they're recognized as artists.
But graffiti is art. It's everyday art. It's live art. It's there. It's for everyone. It's free, and it's on the town, and it's not advertisement.
Emmanuel Desbrun started Studio 55, a gallery devoted to graffiti artists. Here, they can make a lot of money. Here, they had permission. But here, they can get 5 years in jail. So why do it?
I had been used to work on very small pieces, on canvas and everything, and when I tried on a wall, it was like a revelation, honestly.
There has never been one art movement that's been so well developed and recognized in 5 continents ever.
And from 5 continents, artists come to Paris every year for, well, call it a graffiti convention. You came from Germany?
Yes.
Are you German also?
I'm Greek.
I work in Venezuela. I came from Venezuela.
From Venezuela, Brazil, New York, Asia, China, you know, it's from everywhere.
Chile. You came from Chile for?
Australia.
Really?
It's a global thing, you know? Graffiti is all over the world.
If you go around, you ask people,
Who's your favorite artist?
well, actually, I was going to say who's one of the seminal figures, but all right, here he is.
John One.
And though the Transit Authority of New York used to spend millions every year scrubbing the likes of his work off the subways, well, since he moved to Paris some 20 years ago, John One has his own studio and does a lot more than trains.
You thought I just did graffiti with spray paint and I was gonna break dance for you. Yeah.
In fact, he uses pencils, canvases, brushes, and an assistant to do pieces which sell for an average of $10,000 to $15,000. And don't expect to see his work in the metro. It's all in galleries now.
2 dealers right here.
Really?
Yeah, there they go right there. Hello.
Magda Dani's gallery in Paris represents John One. And I gotta wonder, I mean, if it's in a gallery, is it still graffiti?
It's the energy from the street. Something that just, we don't care, it's a canvas or it's a wall, it's the same. So I love this amazing freedom.
Me, I love to see this sort of barbaric, sort of like, you know, caveman type of expression, you know, like that.
Now, see, I happen to like his work, but, you know, you may be wondering, well, who's going to buy this stuff?
You have people who were in fashion designers. Guess that maybe because they have a sense of what is really contemporary, what is the flow, what is the city. Then you have people, I even have kids, like they're 18, and they're like, can I buy a small one?
All this success has a downside.
I've never been so busy in my life. I'm completely exhausted. This is getting serious, you know? It's like, where's the fun? Because I'm really like, I didn't get into this type of, you know, painting and this type of stuff to be serious.
But at least the neighbors who live near that graffiti convention, they're happy.
Ça c'est bon. C'est bon.
Chicago-based t-shirt company has a design team of thousands. And what do they pay them? Nothing.
This started as a hobby and kind of blew up.
There certainly was no, like, you know, late night napkin of like this business plan. We're like, this is genius, you know, and we just need to do this.
It was to kind of give artists an outlet, a way to actually make real products out of the art they were creating on their computers.
Threadless was founded in 2000 by Jake Nickel. He had an idea to create a community where artists could share their work and he'd print them out on t-shirts. But what he and his chief creative officer, Jeffrey Kalimkoff, didn't have were the resources to determine which t-shirts would sell the most.
And, you know, we can't figure out research and development, so the thing that made the most sense is ask people here's 10 designs, which one do you like the best? You like that one the best, unanimously? Okay, we'll print it. And then people bought it.
Nickel and his company have become leaders in the wave of a new business model, one which blurs the lines between producer and consumer.
I knew that I was doing something that hasn't really been done before, but I didn't know that it was going to be so successful. You know, I thought it was just a cool thing to do because people aren't doing it, but I had no idea it was going to turn into, you know, crowdsourcing, the buzzword, user innovation.
Here's how it works. Artists submit their original designs and each member casts a vote for their favorite. Those scoring the highest vote get their design printed and sold on Threadless's website as well as in their Chicago retail store.
Every one of these shirts is selling because we only print stuff that sells.
In addition to the $2,000 cash prize and a $500 gift certificate, the winning artist gets to keep the rights to their work.
We're trying to develop these ongoing trust-bearing relationships where people want to stick around. By being nice and doing the right thing for people, like that is going to develop that trust.
Everyone who works at Threadless understands that without their designer customers, there wouldn't be a business.
I think we owe our popularity to almost to our honesty and how true our brand is. You know, we are our own customers, and we love the art just as much as everybody else. And you know, I think it really comes across as being part of our brand's personality.
Now she's got her own show. One of the most sought-after and original tattoo artists in the nation is bringing her talent here to Los Angeles. Kat Von D has inked everyone from music sensation Eve to rough and rowdy jackasses Bam Margera, and has had her eye on Los Angeles for a long time.
When my older sister got her driver's license, we would sneak to LA like every chance we got, and I just remember pulling up off of like the 101 and being able to see like the whole skyline. I'm like, man, I'm gonna live here.
Her new business will be documented on the TLC show, LA Ink.
You know, LA Ink is gonna give me an opportunity to really be proud of something, and you know, it's the first time being a business owner, and for me, like, tattooing is my life, and I really wanna represent it in a good light. You'll be able to see a lot more of like the rock and roll edge. We have like a pretty good list of like celebrity / musician / personality / extreme sports stars coming in and getting tattooed. Who doesn't want to see their rock stars getting tattooed and, you know, maybe crying or like sharing why they're getting what they're getting, you know, because you always wonder like, man, I wonder why Pam has that barbed wire, you know what I mean? And this, you'll be able to see like people in their element. So, and you know, along with that, we're gonna have regular folks and our clients and, you know, every walks of life. So I think this is LA, and this is like the place to do it.
Tattoos have always had a negative connotation, but Kat plans on changing that stereotype.
I feel like LA Ink will be able to like open people's minds as far as like, you know, these stigmas like, you know, they're just for bikers or criminals or for sailors. It's not like that, you know, like nowadays you've got, you know, everybody from doctors to lawyers to someone who just turned 18 to someone who turned 80. So, you know, people are getting tattooed for all reasons and all walks of life, and I think that it'll be good to showcase that.
Her smile is in the lower spatial frequencies. The horizon is significantly lower on the left than it is on the right.
Wow. I was in high school, and my first thought when I saw the Mona Lisa was, wow, it's small. And I think everybody has that feeling like this is the most famous painting in the world, and you expect to walk up and have this be this grand portrait, and it's pretty small. And you're sort of caught up in the fact that everybody's there looking at it. You have the entire Louvre, but everybody congregates at this one spot to look at this one painting. And it's Leonardo's most famous painting in many ways because he said it was his best. And who knows better than Leonardo? And so it has a certain amount of mystique saying, geez, if Leonardo thought this was his best, it must be fantastic.
The first time I saw the Mona Lisa, I was 19 years old. I'd finished shooting a movie in Spain and taken the per diem that I saved up and jumped on the train and went to Paris for a few days with a buddy of mine who also acted in the movie, Charlie Martin Smith. And he lived for a couple of years in Paris, so that's what we did. A couple of teenagers, you know, living in some little hotel in the Latin Quarter, having a great time. And we went to the Louvre. And you know, there were hordes of tourists, and I wedged my way in, and I very patiently, you know, wormed my way up there to see the Mona Lisa. And I'm afraid, like a lot of other people, I thought, boy, kind of small. There's a lot of talk about this painting. What's so significant about her? And, you know, that's a legitimate question to ask, I suppose. But it's quite a different conversation in your own mind that you have when you're alone in the room with the Mona Lisa. And you are surrounded by this great artwork. And yes, of course, it's presented there in the center. But I think if you put that painting anywhere in the museum, you'd have to stop and look. There's just something mesmerizing, engrossing, thought-provoking, which is why, you know, the painting is a great choice as a sort of an iconic reflection of the movie, as a sort of a graphic, identifiable image related to the Da Vinci Code. Not only did Da Vinci paint it, of course, but it's this sort of enigmatic, mysterious quality that's perfect.
The first time I saw it was years ago when in its old place in the Louvre. It was the only time I'd ever been to the Louvre prior to us shooting in there, and it was surrounded by 80 people trying to get a glimpse of the Mona Lisa. There is something about the power of the physical scope when you're in the room all by yourself. On top of that, you're surrounded by masterpiece upon masterpiece. I mean, just walking to the set, I must have passed a dozen pieces of art that I have recognized all my life. And they come up and here's a room with a bunch of C-stands and flags and the camera crane has been broken down, and oh, turn around there and there's the Mona Lisa. There she is looking out at I said, why can't craft service be in here? Can't we have the tea and the cookies right here as well? It would only complete the scenario.